but how can we do it? And then they integrated 3 large employees, so MEE, that's a city and an organization in Rotterdam who helped them. Also ABC, and then the community in Rotterdam helped them also to look at, okay, how can we make it more understandable for people to get our services and to use them. And then they say like, okay, what should we do? And then people were like, okay, we don't use a lot of digital stuff here, digital services for people with learning disabilities, but we do use letters. But the problem with the letters is they don't really understand them. So then they looked with people with learning disabilities, okay, what do you need to be more readable? To understand this, to use this, and to have less questions. And that's how the project Visuals and Letters started. Yeah. So as you can see, the left, that's the old letter. So first Rotterdam sent a letter of about 2 pages, very long, too much information, not much visuals. There were a lot of letters pointed out, colors and stuff. So for people, that's really like, okay, a lot of colors, a lot of text. I don't know what to do with this letter. So then they started the project of really looking at the letters. What can we put away? What text can be left out? Or what can we add, pictograms or pictures and stuff. And then at the end, they saw like, okay, people really like, not like pictures, they do like pictures, but they don't like pictograms. So they integrated pictures in it. Really important, it should be colored. So pictures with colors. And they reduced the text to 1 page. So it's really important for people to see, okay, with the headlines, what should I know? What should I do? And that with this letter, it calls out the actions that people should do. So, and it's really important, you don't do this alone. Such a project needs really enthusiastic people, really enthusiastic colleagues, and also civilians who want to work with you. So people with disabilities were engaged in the project, they were used, and together with them they have had a really good result. So in Rotterdam, they already send out these kind of letters, and the effect on it is really good, and the impact is that people really like it. And they also put it on LinkedIn like, oh, I got a letter from Rotterdam, it's really good, it's really nice, and now I understand what to do. So it's really good that people have to challenge assumptions, so don't think like, okay, I send a nice letter, people will understand it. No, you really have to test it with the audience if they do. And then we moved on, so okay, Rotterdam said the effect of the letters is really good, so we should make it transnational. And just like to say like, okay, we also send out big letters, people don't know what to do with them, maybe we should start it too. So then together with Rotterdam, we developed a workshop on how to make letters more visible, how to make letters more better, and then we also made a white paper out of it. So after this session, we will go back to Belgium, back to Rotterdam, and we will make sure that the white paper is done by, I think in April, end of April. And then if you guys want to see the white paper and really use this also in your organization, you can just go to the Eulike website and download the white paper and download the use case. And if you have questions, just come to me in the comfort break and I'll answer them for you. So in Roeselare, we first did the workshop with how to use it, how to make visuals and letters. And now it's up to us to really use the knowledge of the workshop and to put it into the letters. And now we are like in a co-production in the own municipality to really use them. And we hope by the end of next year we will send a lot of letters with a lot of pictures. So within the Eulike project, we really have a nice quote. So coming together is the beginning, like this is the beginning, you're coming together here. Keeping together is a progress, so visit us, come to us, and then if we can work together, it will be a success. Thank you.
So hi everybody, my name is Patrick Watson. I'm an Organisational Development Intern with Thanks Council, and I'm going to be talking you through today what we've been doing so far to increase digital skills within our organisation, but also what we plan to do in the future as well. So first of all, I'll talk you through what we have done already. Last year we sent out a staff survey to assess the digital skills within our organisation to find our areas of strength and weaknesses. So what we found was that staff were looking for training in particular applications, so things like OneNote, Excel. So what we did was we commissioned an external company to come in and deliver the training on that. So people attended these training sessions, often a half day or a full day event. And after that, we also created e-learning to back up the learning that people learn on the course. Because we felt that sometimes you go to a training course and you sort of, after a few days you forget, so that people have a resource that they can go back to and look and just refresh their memory. So we don't lose that learning and we keep progressing our skills. And we've also been out delivering GDPR training, which is of course mandatory for all council staff. So we've been going out to care homes quite often, because a lot of the workers are often in their maybe 40s, 50s, 60s, and they don't have the digital skills that other people do. So, and they aren't always very confident with technology, so we're there as a helping hand just to help them get through the training. And it's also about increasing their confidence and trust in the digital processes. So it sort of achieves two things at once. And now I'll flick through to what we plan to do. So we've got a Digital Geniuses program that's similar to what other partners in Roussillon and Suffolk have done in terms of digital stars and digi-coaches. So we've had some good discussions in the last few days about ways that we can work together and just share resources and findings. And so we've set up a working group for that. And we're very much in the initial processes of setting it up. So we'll be looking to progress that further this year and hopefully have it in place by September, I think, is our target date. And it's all about sort of harnessing the digital skills within our organisation and spreading them throughout, so people will be sort of ambassadors for digital skills and innovation, so that if someone has a problem with their computer, instead of going to IT, they can instead just ask somebody who is a digital genius, and it's a more informal way of learning and people feel more comfortable. So it's all about trying to increase the digital skills of everyone within the organisation and try and bring that level up. We've got our Digital Skills Week, which will be happening later this year. We're working with the Scottish Government on a few things there in terms of projects and things like that. So this is a sort of template of what it would look like, sort of theme days throughout the week. And we're also sending out a new survey later this year. We feel it's important to try and keep our surveys up to date, so we know that we're constantly monitoring the skills within our organisation, again looking for strengths and weaknesses. And also a little bit about the Tayside Partnership. That's working with councils in Dundee, Perthing, Kinross and Angus, and they're all very closely situated together. And they're also 3 quite small councils as well, so we feel it's quite good to pool the resources and the findings and work on projects together. So we're looking to work on a cybersecurity project together. And one more thing as well that's not on there, but I'm going to talk about briefly, is DigiKen. So it's similar to Digital Geniuses. It's about upskilling people's digital skills, but not within our organisation, but in the... Here we go.
Might work.
There we go. Is it working? I don't know. Okay.
Just speak a bit louder.
Okay. So it's very similar to the Geniuses. It's about getting people's skills up, but it's not within the council organisation. It's actually like out and about with their citizens. So it's a sort of volunteering programme to go out to often again older people that don't necessarily have the skills and the confidence of other people, and just trying to get their levels of skills up. So that's what we're working on in terms of our digital skills, both inside and outside our organisation. So we're making good progress. We're really excited about the things that we're doing, and I'll now pass over to our next speaker, which I believe is Paul. I'll hand you the mic, but it doesn't work. So.
Yeah, I'll take mine.
So my name's Paul Feltham. As it says there, I'm Information Systems and Performance Officer within Health and Social Care Partnership. Just a quick background. In Scotland, they changed the way health and social care was. They basically created legislation to create a new government body, which is partnerships, and there was kind of different styles. So you can have a body corporate, or you can have a lead agency. Body corporate means the health service and the local authority can delegate functions and people and resources away into this new organisation, or as a lead agency, basically you can transfer the staff from the local authority to the health service or the health service to the local authority. So for an Angus, we're a body corporate, so it's a joint effort. So yeah, we're going to go through a bit about data and dashboards. When it clicks. There we go. Just a quick one, as I say, why are we using data and dashboards? Well, obviously we need to plan better services, especially the fact that now they're delegated. It means that it's different in the sense of you're not used to either we report to the NHS or we report to Angus Council. It's kind of a hybrid in the sense that we report to a chief officer. They're responsible for what we do within our organisation. Evidence how we're doing, making sure our services are value for money, getting the right care for people at the right time. Creates openness and transparency in the sense that we can what we're trying to do is show people this is what we do, this is how we do it. Yeah, it might not be a good news story, but again it's the fact that, well, this is what we're trying to do to make it better. So because it's a new organisation, didn't have, it was hard for people to find information about the partnership, so it used to sit on Angus Council's website and it also used to sit on NHS Tayside's website, which meant there's a lot of duplication because you have to keep publishing the same information twice. So we created, through the project, we're able to create a partnership website, and we also then created a dashboard. Again, it's just a public version, so it's all the strategic level information that sits in our dashboard, and it's just another way for people to get access to that information. So the website was launched on the 21st of August last year. Up to date, we've had about 13,000 unique visits. It allows people on each of the pages, it's got basically thumbs up and thumbs down at the bottom of the pages. So if you go to the page and you're looking at it and you want to give us feedback, obviously if it's not good, you put the thumbs down and then it'll ask you what's wrong with it. If you do like it, you can click on it, but at the same time it allows you to share it. So you can put it on Twitter or Facebook or what. As I said there, the most time it's visited is between 8 and 10 in the morning. That's usually because people are trying to get GP appointments and they can't get a GP appointment, so what they're trying to do is trying to find information on who else can I speak to. So that's what we're finding through the website. And again, it's mostly people on mobiles. So, yeah, as I said, the dashboard, that was kind of the big thing for us through the Eulike project. It's all about, we're trying to put our information out there for other people to use. So we created a basic dashboard. Strategic level information includes mapping. This is something I went on a 2-day course about 3D mapping, and that's basically the population of Angus shown as a 3D map. This is Forfar, so it's where most of our population is, in the centre of Forfar. As I said, it's an open data dashboard. It's split into 4 localities, so Angus itself is an area, and then within that area for the partnership, from a planning's perspective, we deliver it through 4 geographical areas. They're known as localities, and these are the 4 localities. We are trying to develop further dashboards, i.e. operational level, so for managers in their services being able to see, they get the information, it's usually in Excel or a Word document, but we're trying to create a more digital way of doing that so that they can use it not just using Excel, you can use it on their phone, tablets, because we're all getting different devices and working in different ways. Again, with that, we've been able to obviously increase activity with OT because we can do direct referrals through digital, face-to-face training. Part of this was also the fact that there's videos on there, so we did a bit of a project about recovery, and it was more around for children in schools. So we were able to go in, we did it in one school, videoed it, and then we were able to share that with all the other schools. Trying to encourage more and more self-management. More people just want to do things, they don't want to phone, they're more happy just, if I can find it myself, I'll do it. So we're trying to kind of encourage that approach. Mapping, again, that's a new skill that we've learned in the sense for health and social care. One of the things that I had never understood was you could not find a map of a GP practice's boundary. So what does the GP practice actually cover? We just couldn't find that, or if you did, it was usually a big roll of paper with a couple of highlighters and somebody's just drew a circle or what. So we've done that for the whole of Tayside, and it's something that nationally they want to take forward based on, well, they did ask us to do it, and then it was a bit of, no. But, it's that bit about, look, we've done it, so can we keep moving this forward? And then again, we've done project-specific mapping, i.e. deprivation and other things that we need to use for our services. taken all that, created a locality tool, i.e. you put your postcode in, it'll tell you the social work teams that cover you, it'll tell you what GP practice you're covered by, and it'll also tell you how you contact these services. And then, as I say, we're then working with NHS teams. We're starting to create frameworks digitally, so rather than again a Word document that's on version 43, it's the fact that it's online and it can just be refreshed. You just press but it's refreshed, here's your document, it's live, but you can also see all the previous versions. And again, this is next. So the next big challenge for us with all this is a partnership intranet site. So again, Angus Council's got its SharePoint, NHS Tayside's got StaffNet. We've got to duplicate what we do in-house rather than outside. So because of that, it causes a lot of extra work. So we're trying to kind of phase that in. From this, basically the whole point for us is about how we use open source available technology, because it does have a place. I think sometimes it's easier, when other councils done that, can we just do that? Sometimes it's easier to just do that than actually, well, can we go exploring? Because this partnership's new, we actually don't understand our customer base. So it's a bit about, well, let's put this information here, see how this works. If people like it, fine. If they don't like it, we can change it. Yeah, so that's what we're basically trying to do. And I'll now hand you over to Graham.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Graham Hodge. I'm a Communities Officer with Angus Council. I do live in Dundee, and I'm afraid to say my team's at bottom of the league as well. So no, do I need that? Can you hear me? Yes, I'll start singing if I have a mic in my hand. So yeah, I'm going to talk about participatory budgeting, and I'm going to call it PB because then when I start saying participatory budgeting all the time, I get tongue-tied all the time. So how do we work this actually?
Next button.
Oh yeah. So PB. So right. We've done participatory budgeting since 2015. Participatory budgeting is about, instead of the council deciding on public money, we're letting people decide on what's best for public money, and the Scottish Government are aiming to have this in the future. So within this areas, there's a town called Brechin, Montrose, and a small village in Edsel. So we've done PB for 3 years in Brechin, £20,000 for each year. Over the last 3 years, 31 projects received funding. Montrose, it was a North East Local Locality Improvement Group, provided £8,000 to do a PB event in the town, addressing health and wellbeing priorities for adults. 11 projects received funding. Edsel, October, again, same organisation, provided £5,000 and 9 projects got funding. I'm just saying, what PB is PB is about engaging with the community. It's about engaging with groups to maybe put forward applications for funding. So if there was maybe £8,000 for Montrose, the limit for each project or group, if they had a good idea that covered the addressing health and wellbeing priorities for adults in Montrose, then they can put forward an application to a steering group who is made up of community members, and then if they address the health and wellbeing priorities, then they move on to a voting day. A voting day is, I don't know if you've seen it in Tesco's or Asda, where when you get your shopping you get wee coins that you can put into 3, that's participatory budgeting, but we're using public money now. So that's what we've done in all these areas actually. We've had a voting day where members of the public come along, they get 3 tokens, and they can put the 3 tokens in individual boxes where they feel which project should get the funding. And also the most tokens from each group then receives the money. So you're starting off at £8,000. If the group with the most tokens wins, they're looking for £1,000, then the budget goes down to 7,000, so on, so on, so on, so there's absolutely zero left in the fund. We've also done it with young people. There's £40,000 from Angus Council. The PB event was used the National Young Scot platform that enabled young people to vote online this time using their individual Young Scot card. So every young person has got an individual number that they can do. They can go online and vote. Voting went live in September 2018. The funding announcements were made in end of September. Last year, this was part of the Year of the Young People programme that Angus hosted. Total bids received 35, with the total amount of funding requesting 91,000. So that's the importance of PB. You've got 91,000 funds come in, but you've only got 40 grand. So it's really about not the council making the decisions, it's the young people that's making decisions where they think the money should go. 34 of the 35 bids went forward to the voting process, where 1,120 some young people voted across Angus through Young Scot platform. 15 projects received funding, 12 projects were successful and received the full amount they requested, and 3 bids received part funding. So what's the future of PB in Angus really actually? So in Angus there's 4 locality partnerships in Angus, which each locality will receive £50,000 for this financial year. And this will have to be done through a PB process. Next year it goes up to £65,000. So each locality will use the information within each locality plan. So there's a locality plan for each area, and I think that would be focused on what's needing to be improved there. Angus Council will look at mainstreaming PB at all, and as all local authorities have to spend 1% of their budget through PB by 21. So that's £100 million for Scotland, and that equates to £2 million for Angus. So it's a lot of money. So as I said before, we've done it through a token way. Now we'll have to move on and start doing digitally. So Angus Council took the licence out with Social Pinpoint. Social Pinpoint comes from Australia. Angus looked at various options of this kind of site, and we thought Social Pinpoint was more accessible for members of the community to get involved actually. And it's they've got the main area is Australia, but they've got offices in North America as well. So Social Pinpoint is really a mapping engagement tool. It's really trying to get a conversation started with people instead of just like going out face to face. It's really about trying to catch people who work, because usually the people who are face to face is that there's people are not working or in the evening, but people don't want to come out to meetings. They just want to do a quick thing on maybe their mobile or digital tools. So it could be a mapping, could be just a comments page actually, where they can put in things about, could be active travel, it could be anything about the planning process or whatever that stuff, whatever the stuff is actually. So they're able to put maybe a like or a thumbs up, thumbs down, I like that. They're able to put a comment like the active travel say, this pedestrian crossing is very dangerous, blah blah blah. So it gets the information, the conversation going.
And hopefully a video, if it doesn't crash.
Video. It's just a wee bit about Social Pinpoint actually. It's only a minute.
We all know that effective community engagement leads to better project, policy, and strategy outcomes. This has been difficult in the past, as traditional methods only reach a small cross-section of the population, and usually the same profile of person. Citizens are increasingly expecting to be involved in decisions affecting them, and they want to engage online. Social media and other generic online tools may increase feedback, but the conversation can quickly become uncontrolled and off-topic. Introducing Social Pinpoint, a dedicated community engagement platform. Social Pinpoint allows you to quickly sign up, set up, and launch your project. You'll collect quality feedback and information with increased participation rates from a broader audience. With access to live reporting and analytics, you can quickly understand your information and start to find meaningful insights. By involving and understanding your community and stakeholders, you'll make better decisions, which lead to better outcomes for everyone. Social Pinpoint, a place to engage your community.
I know it's a horrible voice here, we're sorry, but that just gives you a wee drift of what Social Pinpoint is. We're working now with Social Pinpoint to use this for participatory budgeting now. So we're looking at what methods of how we can vote and that. So as I said, PEB will have to do it locality wise this year, so we'll have to get this up and going. So we're working hard with Social Pinpoint. They've came up with a draft. Wait, okay, time actually. So if you've got any questions about participatory budgeting or Social Pinpoint, then yeah, just grab me at break time. Okay.
Thank you to Angus.
Thank you.
My name is Bart Rijmakers. I'm a Public Relations Officer of the Province of Drenthe, also coordinator of the Customer Care Center in the Province of Drenthe. This very short pitch is about a project we're in the middle of. So I'll show you the first step and the planning of the project. And it's not about ICT solutions, it's about awareness we're trying to raise with our employees. The Province of Drenthe, I'm a public relations officer, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about the beautiful Province of Drenthe. Everybody's an ambassador. It's not a very dense province, it's in the north of the Netherlands. We do have an airport, it's about there, near Groningen, but it is Drenthe. Groningen Airport, Eelde. So you can all come over sometime. It's not very dense, I told you that. And the biggest city we have is Emmen, it's about 100,000 inhabitants. And the capital is Assen. I don't know if there are any superbike fans in the... Yeah, so you know Assen? You know Assen? Assen. We have a very famous racetrack. And not only racetrack, we also have a lot of heather, Donnen, graves. We're the first UCI bike region in the world. In the world? Check out, yeah, in the world. So, we have startup factories, and here it is, the famous racetrack. At the moment, we're in the middle of trying to get the Formula 1 to Assen racetrack. We have a big competition from Zandvoort near Amsterdam. They also have a very old racetrack. But we're hoping to get the Formula 1 once in Assen. Okay, our organization, it's not a very big organization. We have about 500 employees and a very small executive board. Those 500 employees work in one building, and we are responsible for many aspects, mostly spatial aspects like nature, infrastructure, culture, landscape. And we face some challenges in our organization. First, it's an open door, the information overload. The employees read a lot of papers, they're on Facebook, on Twitter, on websites, and they make their own choices in what to read. And those are mostly their own interests, and not the interests always of the Province of Drenthe. So this media awareness, everybody knows about fake news. Our employees are human too, so some of them do believe fake news. Our challenge is to tell them and show them what's fake, what's not fake, and what's good for them. Another challenge is power to the people. The citizens get more critical. They comment on everything they see and read, and we have to do something with that. We can't let it all pass. And the last one, a very big one, is issue management on social media, media in general, but social media in particular. I'll tell an example in a moment. We started with a tool called Scoopit a few years ago. Scoopit is a news curator, very simple to use. And what we do, we choose the articles online, the public articles that are of interest for the employees. In the old days, in the mid 80s, 90s, you had a cutting newspaper. This is a new style cutting newspaper. And only the articles we select are on the intranet every day. Every morning, people can look at the Scoopit or on the app, and they see some of the articles that are of interest for the province. This is our customer care center. Those are the employees of the customer care center. And as you can see, the second step we've taken is implementing a dashboard at the customer care center. This dashboard has different functions, because not only the customer care center employees look at it, and when they look to the side they see it. Not on the picture, but in real, the public relations team is also in the same room. So when they walk in, they walk out, they constantly look on the big screen, on the dashboard, to see what is going on. They see images like this, where they can, there are tag clouds, there are the number of messages about the province of Drenthe, about subjects. They can write, they can read who talks the most, who's mentioned the most, in what context are we mentioned. And also, this is Suffolk. I made an, it's very easy to set up, so I made a page like this in about 3 or 4 minutes. So if something pops up, last year we had the appearance of the first wolf in Drenthe. He came walking from Germany. So there was a big thing, so we all had to watch very closely what is going to cause that on social media, because on social media the first reports were about the wolf. It was not the official report, it was on social media. We thought from, hey, there could be something going on. So at that moment we called in our other public relations officer, policymakers, and we started our communication strategy. Webcare from the same tool. The tools are OB41, by the way. If anybody's interested, it's OB41. We also do the webcare in it. We also do WhatsApp in it, so people can ask questions through WhatsApp. And active webcare now. The next step we're going to take is to take those dashboards into our office. Every floor has several meeting points, sort of kind of living rooms, where we can drink coffee, eat a sandwich, etc. But there are also big screens in those areas. And around those areas there are specific teams, for example, economics or nature. And what we are going to do is, this is a living room like that, implement dashboards into those meeting points, targeted at the, for example, economics policy or the natural policy. But everybody who sits there can talk about what they see on the monitor. The latest tweets, the latest Facebook messages about, if this is the meeting point of the culture people, then there will be a dashboard only about cultural things being said on social media. So they can talk about it, they can watch it. That's our next step. So that was it.
Thank you.
Yeah.